Hey guys, welcome to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. If this is your first time with me, let me just tell you right now, full show ahead. We've got a lot going on with breaking news, live events happening right around the country, and I want to show you a sneak peek at some of the stuff we'll get into in just a second. So first and foremost, we've got this protest happening right now as we speak. On the top left-hand screen, you're taking a look at an anti-Islam protest, a pro-Muslim support protest out in Dearborn, Michigan. This is right in the middle of a city council meeting. We're trying to get more information on what's taking place here out in Michigan and get you as much information as possible. We are hearing that, again, this is a far-right anti-Islam protest happening right outside the Dearborn City Council meeting. To the right of that, you're taking a look right inside the courtroom of the Tupac Shakur murder trial, and we're calling it that, but I just want you all to keep in mind that the guy who's on trial in this, Dwayne Davis, is accused of kind of being the ringleader, calling the shots in making Tupac's murder happen. That all taking place, of course, back in 1996. It wasn't until 2023 that search warrants were granted, and they went into the home of Dwayne Davis's wife and seem to have found enough information implicating him in the shooting. So again, we're seeing live imagery coming from the courtroom. Maybe we'll be able to dip in and show you what's going on there. To the bottom left hand of your screen, you're seeing video because we're hearing that there was a triple shooting on Ridge Avenue in Philadelphia. One of our reporters, Jeff Skaversky, is rushing out to the scene trying to get as much information as possible for you guys. I'll be able to get you the latest information that we know about the scene there. And then to the right of that, lighter news, we've got the Phillies game tonight against the Miami Marlins. Hopefully we take it home with a big win. We'll be keeping up to date with our sports team and try to bring you as much information on that as possible. Now, news that broke earlier today, I helped break this on the 4 o'clock news behind the news. This medevac aircraft that came crashing out of the sky back in 2025. Well, now we've got some new video that may point to what took place there. So you're taking a look here. This was Ring doorbell footage that has been shared with us from the National Transportation Board, Safety Board, excuse me. As you can see, you've got the light in that right-hand corner, and then boom, the entire sky lights up. Then you've got this dash cam footage there, the plane coming across the sky, and it was like literally almost vertical of a downfall. That is what we are seeing here. So now they're also releasing new information. I was able to talk to an aviation attorney about some of the stuff that's coming out in the dockets that's been released. For example, they tell us a little bit more about the captain and the first officer who were involved in this crash, which, by the way, ended up killing 7 people total. 6 people on the aircraft and 1 on the ground. They're saying the captain and the first officer had enough flight hours that would showcase that they knew what they were doing, but they also suggest that there's some other things at play. For example, the captain, and I quote, had a weakness in selecting modes of operation when the autopilot is off. They also say he had a tendency to react before thinking through the problem. They say the first officer hadn't had any documented record of flying into Northeast Philadelphia Airport. So I was talking to the aviation attorney just about, what he thought of some of the stuff that we were hearing during this investigation. I want to let you guys listen in, just a snippet of what he had to say. Take a listen.
Well, not only a look, but a listen. You can hear the engines, and that's significant. There was not an engine problem because you can hear those jet engines working in the videos. The angle of descent and the angle of the plane's wings is really harrowing to watch on those videos, as everyone who's seen them can tell. Not only a look.
Okay, so that's just a snippet again. The aviation attorney that we talked to earlier today was John Gagliano. He also says that he's representing someone who may have been impacted by this crash, so we're going to try to figure out what's going on there and maybe be able to bring him in for more insight after he's had a chance to read through this report and watch those videos in their entirety. We're talking about 59 items on the docket that the NTSB has released to the public. Even you could go out and see this. It includes a 23-page report that just talks about some of the facts of the day, the facts about the aircraft. One thing he found really interesting was hearing that that particular operator had been involved in 3 different crashes prior to this one. So again, that's the little bit of the latest that we have there. I also want to catch you up on that Ridge Avenue shooting. We're hearing that 3 people were hit during this. Again, Jeff Skaversky's on his way out to the scene to bring you as much information as possible about it. What I can tell you is that this seemed to have taken place just before 5 p.m. on Ridge Avenue. We're talking about the 2200 block here. They say a 31-year-old man had been shot multiple times. He's stable, expected to survive. A 71-year-old man was shot twice in his back. He's stable. He's also expected to survive. And a 78-year-old man had been shot once in his back. Unfortunately, it seems he did not make it. He died from his injuries. However, police took all 3 of those victims to the hospital. So again, we're learning more about this situation. Multiple gunshots being fired. You're seeing even on the scene, they've got some of those bullet casings. Police are still out there as we speak. The area is taped off. We'll check in with Jeff Skaversky in a little while after he's gotten acclimated with what's going on there in the crime scene. Meanwhile, I also want to get you updated on something else that's happening. We've been talking to you guys about this supposed asbestos case at Kensington High School. Well, school's getting ready to start back up. How do the students feel about it? We're going to get right out to Shawnette Wilson, who's leaving a okay, we need to take a second before we get to her. I thought I heard that she was ready. We're hearing that she's leaving a meeting, literally just wrapping up moments ago. Shawnette, I know your time is precious. I want to just hear a little bit of what you got to hear inside.
So we just wrapped up, Judea. The meeting was held here at Kensington Kappa High School, which is a performing arts school. The school that is in question here is Kensington High School. From what we understand, it was just Wednesday of last week when this problem was discovered. The school district is saying that they found out that a third-party contractor, had been doing some demolition work on the HVAC system at Kensington High School, and I guess improperly removed, some piping that contained asbestos. And so, the red light goes off. They say we can't have kids, we can't have staff here inside the school. So that was the problem, and they decided that we've got to find a new location. So we know that school starts Monday of next week on the 24th, and so those students who go to Kensington High School will now be going to Austin Meehan, which is about 10 minutes from their original school. It's in Mayfair, which is in Northeast Philadelphia. So they held this meeting tonight just so that parents and staff could get an idea of what's in store for them, how this whole plan is going to work. So they covered everything from transportation to how they settled on Austin Meehan as being that temporary school, and just what this is going to look like. They anticipate that kids and staff are going to be at Austin Meehan until, I believe they said end of December, or at least early January. So parents came with a lot of questions tonight. Some of them say that, they are concerned about the busing situation. What's going to happen if their kids are late and, they miss the shuttle bus, or, no cell phones were allowed at their original school, Kensington High School. Are they going to allow cell phones, while they're at this alternate school, so that parents will know that their kids made it there safely? So these are all the things that, the district is working to perfect. Again, school starts Monday, so they have a limited time as to when they can get this all. You can come on by. Thank you. When they can get this all straightened out for parents. But I'll be honest with you, I was quite impressed, and a lot of the parents here said this as well, with the plan that the district has in terms of having shuttle buses that are going to be at Kensington High School, beginning at 6:45 in the morning, and there will be several buses kind of throughout the morning to make sure that kids who are on time and kids who can't make it there on time get picked up and then get transported to this temporary school where they're going to be. The principal of the school, who many parents seem to just adore, said that he was going to make an exception that kids can, carry their cell phones to this new location so that they can be able to communicate with parents about, their arrival time. But once they get there, they're working on getting lockers so the students can check their cell phones into a locker. They talked about practice. There were some students who spoke up about, sports is coming up. How are we going to make sure that we can get to and from our games? They say we've got buses, we're making plans for all of this. I will say the one thing that the parents seem concerned about is, Judea, these shuttle buses that are going to take the kids from their original school, Kensington High School, which is where they're going to show up, and then transport them to Austin Meehan. The parents were concerned that, there was no plan to have attendance on those buses. The parents are saying that, you can't put this on the bus driver to monitor kids on the school bus. If we're being real, we know that we have some kids who do the right thing, and then you may have some kids who don't do the right thing. So, they were very vocal about feeling as though the district needs to work out a plan to have someone riding those buses with the kids, the shuttle buses, in between schools to make sure that things go okay. So again, tonight was the in-person meeting. Tomorrow they're going to have a virtual meeting. And then on Friday and Saturday, they're going to have an open house at Austin Meehan, which will be their new temporary school, where parents and staff can actually come to the school, see what it looks like, and how it's going to work out. The district did say that they came up with Austin Meehan because, it meets the requirements in terms of the size that they can accommodate the students, and also the students will not have to go into a school that already has existing students. Austin Meehan, from what I recall, had been vacant since 2002, and so these kids are going to be going into a school with no other students. So that's kind of like the big picture of what's happening. Obviously, they're asking parents, to be patient, that, that first week or two is kind of going to be, let's see how it goes. We have a plan, but we know that, they're going to be kind of learning as they go. So that's what we have. Again, important to note that tomorrow is virtual for parents who didn't have a chance to make it to the meeting tonight. And then the open house, again, Judea, on Friday and Saturday at the new school for parents who want to go and see what this new location is going to look like for their kids. I apologize, we're right under the train here, so it's super loud.
Understood. This is what you get with live news. But Shawnette, the recap that you just gave us was absolutely perfect. For any parent who missed out, I mean, they kind of got a gist of what was talked about. Just a reminder to everyone, you gave us those dates. Tomorrow, that virtual meeting. Friday, another opportunity to actually see the school, have your voices be heard, but also get to talk back and forth with, it seems, administrators. I have to say, too, Shawnette, just like you, I'm shocked, but also very impressed by how quickly they're moving, how communicative they're being, so that there are no questions. I mean, of course, there are going to be questions.
Yeah.
But when school is getting back underway and a lot of people are wondering, what do we do? It's nice to see that administrators are moving very quickly to make sure that things are being done and put into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me just say, the principal, shout out to the principal. I mean, this is the first time that, I ever had seen him there, but a lot of the parents there seem to just absolutely love, let me let someone go on by here, absolutely love, his name is Jose LeBron, is the principal of Kensington High School. And they just seem to absolutely love and trust his vision. And he pretty much said, like, listen, whatever isn't working out, feel free to reach out to me. The district is working closely along with me. He says that since this problem came about on Wednesday, that they have been in complete communication, and that, he's happy to have a, school where the parents adore and trust him, and he's just going to do his best to make sure that this is a smooth transition, as smooth as it can be. So, again, I just want to give him a shout out because, sometimes you don't hear favorable opinions, but there were a lot of people here who just absolutely adore the principal and trust in, what he's put in place alongside the district.
Yeah. Again, thank you for this wrap up. It was very cohesive. I know you're getting ready to put your story together, so you guys, you'll see Shawnette again in the 10 o'clock news. She'll have a live report available for you all to figure out what's going on with Kensington. Again, Shawnette, appreciate you. All right, for those of you who are just now joining us in our live stream chat, it's about that time where we also get you a look at your weather forecast. So I want to touch base with Kathy Orr, meteorologist on standby. Kathy, it seems to be another pretty nice day, but again, I'm looking at your forecast ahead. The next couple of days might not be the same. What do you see?
Well, you know what? They are going to be like polar opposites, Judea. I mean, One day is going to be gorgeous, the next day not so much. We're going to get into that type of a pattern as we get closer to the end of summer, even though I hate to say it. Take a look at Ultimate Doppler because we still have a few showers on the screen, and they're mainly through South Jersey. Now they're at the shore, but this was a much more potent line of showers and thunderstorms popping up in thunder showers. But once it gets to the coastal plain, it really kind of loses its momentum because the air is more stable because of that ocean breeze. So that's why typically we don't see as strong a storms down the shore as we do in inland areas. Philadelphia looking good, almost in silhouette tonight as the sun gets closer to set, and temperatures around the region looking good as well, mainly in the 80s right now. And we're going to continue to see those warm temperatures with us as we go through the evening and even into the overnight. No, it's interesting. As we go through the overnight, we are still holding on to 70 degrees in the city of Philadelphia, which it's been that warm many overnights, but to still see that in the month of August is definitely significant, and we continue to see these warm numbers. Now, as we go into the day tomorrow, I made this for you, especially Judea. It's a perfect summer day, full sun, temperatures in the 80s, low humidity. I mean, if that's not what we would call perfect, I don't know what is. For some people, it may seem too hot. Take a look at these numbers. 86 tomorrow in Allentown, 86 in Quakertown, 87 in Phoenixville, Lansdale, Concord, and also Media. Philadelphia close to 90, but without that humidity, I promise you, it is going to feel even more comfortable than today when temperatures were about 2 to 3 degrees cooler. Millville, 88 tomorrow. Even Cumberland, Hamilton, upper 80s, down the shore in the mid 80s. So let's take a look at that forecast. Down the shore tomorrow, 84, Thursday, a storm chance, Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, 78. 3-day forecast, 89 Wednesday, there's your showers. I mean, look at that, it's a 10-degree drop in 24 hours or less. By Friday, we're at 84 degrees and still seeing temperatures in the 80s by the end of the weekend. But Saturday, we drop. It's only 79 for the high, and it's going to be sticky, and it's going to be a little rainy. Sunday, an afternoon shower storm. The weather improves Monday and Tuesday with highs in the 80s and lows in the 60s. I'm going to grab my normals cheat sheet over here, and let me see. Normal highs around 81. That is more typical of, let's see. Wow, May and early June. That's what it's going to feel like. Wow.
Kathy, can I just say, I love that you have that readily available to you. A professional, you guys, a true professional.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting, Judea, on my little cheat sheet. From September 1st, the average high is around 84. By the end of September, it's 74. So every month starting in the fall, we lose 10 degrees for those averages. Amazing. The average high at the beginning of October is 73. By the end of the month, it's 63. That's how quickly these temperatures decline as we go into the fall. I don't want to think about it.
I don't either. I appreciate you for putting that beautiful forecast, like that graphic together for Wednesday. And I have to say, it's going to work for me perfectly because I'm actually hosting the 12 to 2 p.m. news show tomorrow. So you guys should see me at noon. That means I have the rest of the day to myself.
Yes,
thank you, Kathy.
you do.
I'll check in with you a little later on just to see if there's any update in what we've got going on with our forecast. That being said, you guys, it's about that time where we take a quick commercial break. We're going to get reset on some of the top news of the day, including what's going on in Florida, midterm elections. So that's what everybody's keeping their eyes on. Primary is underway as we speak. We'll check in with a Fox News reporter on what's going on there when we come back. Hey guys, welcome to Philadelphia Live. You're taking a live look out in Dearborn, Michigan. As I mentioned, there's a protest happening right outside a city council meeting. We heard that there were anti-Islam agitators who ended up clashing with the pro-Muslim supporters who were already out there. We also heard that there's an individual there, a far-right anti-Islam activist named Jake Lang, who seems to be stirring up the pot right outside of Henry Ford Centennial Library. We're trying to get more information on why the people are so caught up in all of this and how the police are responding, but you are getting a live look at what's happening out there. As you can see, those officers mounted up on their horses trying to push the crowd back. You also see officers in what appears to be riot gear trying to keep peace within the crowd. So far, we have not seen any violence. We're just seeing a lot of people getting in each other's faces, a lot of flags, and a lot of passion. Now, from Michigan, I want to take you on out to Florida because we've got the primary elections underway. I hear there are quite a few people running in these particular races. Amy Gallo from Fox News is able to bring us a little bit more from Boca Raton. Amy, welcome on into Philadelphia Live. What are you seeing out there as election night continues?
Hey, Judea. Yeah, covering the 25th congressional district race tonight, primarily the Democratic side of things. Looking at the Democratic primary, this is an interesting race. It's one that's expected to be among the most competitive come November. Right now, what we're looking at is a more two sides of what the Democratic Party could be. We've got an established moderate candidate who's already sitting in Congress up against a new progressive candidate who is backed by the Democratic Socialists of America. And two-term Congressman Jared Moskowitz, he is running a more centrist campaign focused on things like affordability, gun control, and fighting anti-Semitism. Then there's DSA-backed Oliver Larkin. He's a progressive activist who supports Medicare for all, abolishing ICE, and ending U.S. military aid to Israel. And it's actually support for Israel that could prove to be a key issue in this race. The newly drawn 25th congressional district stretches along the coast from Boca Raton to Miami Beach. It's an affluent area with a large Jewish population. And there's also plenty of GOP support in this swing district. So Republicans will certainly be focusing on this race regardless of the outcome tonight. And while the Democratic voters I spoke with are considering their party's direction, they're also thinking about who can win in November.
I don't know which direction it's going to go, but I'm definitely thinking that we need a Democrat in that position.
I'm going to vote for the more progressive candidate. This is because I experience and I see many people that are suffering from ICE.
I think the demographic of Palm Beach County is changing more to the right, and I think as a Democrat, Moskowitz has a better chance of winning the general election.
Whoever wins tonight will face the winner of a crowded GOP primary with 5 candidates vying for that top spot. Back to you, Judea.
Amy, just out of curiosity, around what time, if it hasn't already happened, do polls close in your area?
It's 7:24, so it just closed 24 minutes ago. Polls were open here in Florida from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And it seems like a full busy race ahead. We'll be keeping our eyes on what happens with those results. I also understand Wyoming and Alaska are also going through their primaries. So this is just a look at what's going on in Florida. Amy, thank you for joining us here on Philadelphia Live for a live report. With that being said, you guys, I want to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. We're showing you things that are happening all across our nation, keeping our pulse as well on what's happening on the local side of things. We started out this hour telling you about this triple shooting. Before we go to break, let me just run through this one last time for anybody who's just now joining us. We heard it on Ridge Avenue that 3 people had been shot, at least one of those individuals seemingly not making it. Once again, we're talking about a 31-year-old man who had been shot multiple times, but expected to be stable and survive his condition. We've got 71-year-old man shot twice in the back, also seeming to be stable, expected to survive. A 78-year-old man who had been shot once in the back, he is the individual who we're hearing lost his life in this situation. They say more than 50 shots have been fired from several different weapons. 4 people seemingly have gotten out of a light-colored or silver SUV and opened fire. That's what police are telling us right now. They're trying to figure out who did this. whether or not this was a targeted shooting or whether those 3 individuals were just innocent bystanders. But I can tell you, we also got to hear from officials with the police department just sharing a little bit more about what happened out there. I want to let you guys take a quick listen.
The 4 individuals in the SUV, is there any description about what they were wearing at this point, or is that still being under review as you?
That's something we're going to work on to get specific. I don't want to provide any information at this time, but we do have a good recording from our police real-time crime cameras. And like I said, there's numerous other private surveillance cameras that were also very, very close on both sides of the street. So we're pretty confident that we're going to have several different angles and several different recordings of this triple shooting.
Meanwhile, Jeff Skaversky, our reporter, is live on the ground out there, just trying to get more information, maybe even be able to speak to potential witnesses in this triple shooting, but a very horrible situation that we've got unfolding before us. Again, if you live in this area, you are nearby, and you're wondering why there's so many police officers near and why there's areas just roped off, now you understand the situation. We're trying to get the latest available for you, so hopefully around 8 o'clock we'll be able to check in with Jeff and see what he has gotten from this scene. Meanwhile, I'll also let you know right now as we speak, we've got a live look inside the courtroom where the man accused of being a ringleader and getting everyone together in order to facilitate the shooting death of Tupac Shakur is on trial. You're looking at someone who's testifying here as the attorneys ask questions. This has been going on all day long. We'll try to jump in and let you listen to a little bit of what they're saying there, but it's also around that time where we have to give you a quick commercial break. When we come back, another big story that's developing right here in Philadelphia, actually right down the street from the station. We're hearing that there was vandalism that took place at a very prominent Jewish museum. So we'll be touching base with the executive director just to see what's going on there, how we may be able to help when we come back. Welcome on into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray, and you are taking a live look out on Market Street. We're also seeing what's going on as it pertains to Old City. So if you've ever taken the train into Old City, most likely if you've gotten off on 5th, you would have seen this museum, the Weizmann National Museum of American Jewish History. Well, we're hearing that part of it was vandalized, and obviously they take this very seriously. Want to bring in Amber Harris to talk to us a little bit about how the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission is reacting and what we may be able to do. Amber, welcome on into Philadelphia Live.
All right, thank you so much for having me this evening.
No problem. I wish it were under better circumstances, but we're hearing about a week
Absolutely.
ago someone scribbled a hateful message. Where exactly was it? And I don't want you to go into what it said, but
hmm
how the reaction to it.
Absolutely. What occurred was on August 13th at around 8:15 p.m. It was observed by a passerby, actually State Rep Tariq Khan, observed that an anti-Semitic message was written on the Oi Yoy sculpture located outside the Weitzman Museum. He did contact the proper authorities, and then subsequently, surveillance video showed someone vandalizing the sculpture located outside of the museum, and the suspect was also seen boarding a local regional train, SEPTA train, disappearing from the scene of the incident.
So far, we're not quite sure who this person may be or where they could be at right now. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, hopefully police are able to get more information soon, maybe even from someone listening to this. Maybe you saw that individual do this about a week ago. I'm just out of curiosity, the sculpture that this was scribbled upon, is there a special meaning to it? I see it every day, but I've never asked the question.
Yes, the sculpture was actually designed by a Jewish artist, and I do apologize, their name escapes me at the moment. But the sculpture is a representation of communities coming together, and really a tribute to the city of Philadelphia, and the play on the Jewish term "oi" and the Philadelphia term "yo," to show that Jewish representation in the city of Philadelphia. So it was in celebration of the Jewish community that's located here.
Which makes it even more understandable why everyone is trying to rally around this and figure out why someone would want to do this. I understand that there's been so much reaction. Can you just walk me through even how your organization is dealing with this?
Absolutely. The Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission is a Commonwealth civil rights enforcement agency, so we unequivocally condemn the act of vandalism that occurred with the at the Weitzman Museum. Unfortunately, this isn't a rare incident in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Specifically in 2025, there were 281 incidents of anti-Semitism that occurred across the Commonwealth. 106 of those actually occurred in the city of Philadelphia, 90 of which were acts of vandalism. So we are seeing unfortunately, a pattern in this space. The Weitzman Museum, this is the pattern of incidents. They had a very similar incident happen in August of last year, unfortunately, and we are unequivocally supporting them as they work through trying to restore the harm that occurred from this act of vandalism.
And people will always say things like, sticks and stones may break my bones, words will never hurt me, whatever. I'm just going to say that there for us all in the room. Um, how does this go deeper than just being a word or a phrase that's scribbled somewhere? Like, how does it permeate and really affect people?
It's a form of intimidation. Of course, fortunately the sculpture has already been cleaned, but the act of intimidation, which was targeted towards our Jewish communities, is going to have ramifications and is an act of intimidation, trying to demonstrate to our Jewish neighbors that they are not welcome here by this individual. And it's very important that the community rallies around them, lets them know that we welcome them living here, working here, worshiping here, and we encourage them to do so.
Okay. And is the museum still open to anyone who wants to come through and visit?
I believe the museum is still currently open, yes.
Okay. Well, Amber, I know that this has been a fairly short interview, but I appreciate you joining us here, walking us through what happened, but also thankfully that it's already been cleaned up. I hate to hear how the community is receiving this notice and message, but I also appreciate you sharing how the message of unity coming together is even louder.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I just want to mention if anyone finds themselves on the receiving end of an act of discrimination, please reach out to the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. You can contact us at 717-787-4410 or just visit pa.gov/PHRC and we will be happy to assist you.
Just out of curiosity, because we are live streaming on a couple of different social media platforms, are you guys also on social media?
We are also on social media. You can find us at PHRC or Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission on all platforms.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the work that you guys do. It's hard work, thankless work sometimes too, but I thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
No problem. You guys, that was Amber Harris again, just sharing with us what happened at the museum. Again, horrible thing that happened there. It has already been cleaned up. Hate has no place anywhere. You guys are now seeing what it looks like. Just in case you've ever taken the train up, you know exactly what we're talking about. I also want to share other things that are going on. It looks like court is wrapping up for the day, where Dwayne Davis, who's known as Keefy D, is on trial. They say he's the ringleader in what's been going on in 1996 when Tupac Shakur was murdered right outside of a nightclub in Las Vegas. Again, I believe this is wrapping up. Let's see if we can just put the audio just in case the judge is making any statements.
No, Your Honor, I'll be asking the state for their witnesses tomorrow by 1 match.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be in recess then.
Thank you.
See everyone back at 1 o'clock.
Yes, it does sound like they just took their recess. 1 o'clock seems to be the time where they'll reconvene tomorrow, which actually is fairly late. Usually they get started earlier in the morning and we're streaming all day long, but they mentioned 1 o'clock. But then again, I think about it, that may be their time. So I'll check on what would that be if we put it with Eastern Standard Time. Also let you know that we are keeping our eyes on some of those watch parties out in Florida. We'll be able to bring you a live look later on, but I can tell you Byron Donalds out in Florida is having his watch party. We've already got that set up, and Oliver Larkin is also having a watch party. So we'll see what's going on there. We'll also keep you up to date on what's happening with this protest in Michigan. As I mentioned before, we have not seen any violence taking place here, but we are hearing reports of protesters clashing. We're talking about anti-Islam protesters and pro-Muslim protesters. Also seem to be an activist who's on the far right, seems to be out there as well. So again, we'll touch base with what's going on there. Okay, we've got some men dressed up as Spider-Man. Can we actually put up the audio? It seems like this is that kind of clash that we've been talking about.
Back to you, Charlie.
That's our reporter who's on the scene from our sister station bringing more information. It seems that she just tossed back to her newsroom, was waiting for the anchor to then clear her. We'll be able to show you the scene from that's in kind of getting underway out there as we speak. But again, just crazy stuff that we are seeing all across the nation. This is Philadelphia Live. That means I'm bringing you breaking news and live news. I'll keep you up to date on everything that's happening. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we get back to it, we're checking with our sports teams. Philadelphia Phillies are taking on the Miami Marlins again. They're going to come out on top. I don't know. We'll check in with one of our sports reporters when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray, and you are taking a live look out at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies are playing. Last night, we kind of crushed the Marlins, at least by a point. I'll take it. I'll take the run. But we're wondering, can we do it again? This is an ongoing series. I want to bring in someone from our sports team. Actually, Jamie Apodi, this is my first time getting to talk to you on Philadelphia Live. Welcome on in.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, so first of all, you've had an incredible launch to getting over here to Fox 29 Philadelphia. I've been trying to keep up with you on social media, so this is my late welcome.
Oh, no worries. No, any welcome is
you.
awesome. I love being here, really. It's my first time in this camera, so this is kind of cool. I like it.
Our stream setup is a little different from what you guys have been seeing, but you know, we try to make it work. So
great.
Have you been keeping your eyes on the Phillies game tonight?
Yeah, it's tied 1-1 right now in the fourth inning. So we were wondering what was going to happen with Zach Wheeler because oh, look at that. You've got it right there. Zach Wheeler's had a couple of rough starts. His last 4 starts, he's had a 7.63 ERA. And the last time he faced the Marlins, he gave up a couple early home runs to them in the first inning. So he has given up 1 home run tonight, but only the 1. So that's a good sign. It's 1-1. The Phillies got their run via an Alec Bohm single. Alec Bohm has been red hot, so all those people that were ready to get him out of town are now jumping back on the Bohm bandwagon, so that's good to see. So the Phil's trying to jump up in the standings and better their playoff positioning.
So, I mean, like a week or so ago, we weren't doing so hot, and I've heard from a couple of different people on the sports team that you really shouldn't count them out because you never know what can happen. But I mean, playoffs.
They'll be in. I mean, I don't want to say, you never say.
Well, knock on wood.
Yeah, you don't always say, like, you don't guarantee anything, but yeah, right now that they are 6.5 games back in their division, but they're in a good spot for one of the wild card spots. So they're probably going to end up with a wild card into the playoffs, depending on what happens here. You never know. They could go on a run and catch the Braves, but right now they are 6.5 back. The team they're playing tonight is 10.5 back. So, you always want to get a win this time of year, and they're just going to keep trying to win as many games and as many series as they can to better that playoff positioning. And because come October, you never know what's going to happen, and anything can happen, really.
I mean, so okay, speaking of October, or at least the fall coming up, we know that means Philadelphia Eagles will be back on. Eventually, we'll also be able to see the Sixers. I know that they're not necessarily the main headline right now, but is there anything that has happened in the last couple of weeks that has really caught your eye?
Well, the Eagles are going to be a main headline tomorrow because they are up in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where they're going to actually be doing some joint practices with the New England Patriots for the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And that would be fun anyways, because it's always great to see the Eagles in training camp get to hit another team. And because these preseason games don't really show you much because none of the starters really play and all that good stuff. But what's a bigger story is the fact that the Patriots, who were in the Super Bowl last year, traded for A.J. Brown, the Eagles' best receiver, in the offseason. So now the Eagles are going to get to go right up against the guy that they just sort of got rid of because he was kind of an issue in the locker room. He was causing a little bit of problems. So this is going to be a huge storyline the next 2 days. In fact, Breland Moore's up there covering it for us on Fox 29. So you can expect all sorts of fun little chippy fights maybe. You can expect everyone to see what the Eagles offense can do against the Patriots defense. And they've got a lot of former friends on that team, Milton Williams as well. So it's going to be really, really cool to follow the Birds the next 2 days.
Jamie, everything you're saying is music to my ears. Sports might not be my strong suit, but drama is. So
well,
I'm ready.
There will be drama regardless. That'll be great.
I'm excited to see Breland's coverage as well as yours here in the building at Fox 29. Appreciate you joining on jumping on the stream with us, sharing what's going on with the Phillies. We'll keep our eyes out there, Citizens Bank Park. Jamie, appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You too. Have a good one.
No problem. All right, you guys, I keep my eyes on our live stream chat. That's because from time to time, you guys ask me questions. You share other news that you want to get me on out to. And wait a minute, someone said, I don't care about the Phillies. Get some real news. Well, I got you. Okay, let's take a look at some of our live events that are happening. I've been talking to you guys about this protest that's bubbling over in Dearborn, Michigan. You're taking a live look at it right now. Our sister station is providing this live video, and it looks like it started out as a city council meeting out in Dearborn, Michigan. Then we're hearing that pro-Islam agitators and anti-Islam agitators all got together, clashing. As you can see, we've got officers out on the scene. They seem to be dressed in what I would describe as riot gear, just without the shields. There's also been barriers that have been put up to keep people back. But again, this all started with a city council meeting. So I've been trying to look into what exactly got everyone upset, and it looks like ahead of the meeting, demonstrators had already gathered outside of this particular library. That seemed that there had been tense moments way before the meeting actually got underway. Two very different messages being shouted out. So we've got supporters of a guy named Jake Lang. He's a pro-Christian, anti-Islam agitator and activist. And his message has been met with pro-Muslim supporters, again, ahead of that city council meeting. For days, we're told that Dearborn police told people who don't have official business at this building not to show up to demonstrate for or even against Lang. So now, who is that? Just in case this is your first time hearing about him. We said Jake Lang, but it seems his full name is Edward Jacob Lang. He's a far-right anti-Muslim activist who served about 4 years in prison for his participation in the U.S. Capitol attack on January 6, 2021. He was one of just hundreds of people who had been pardoned by President Donald Trump in 2025. He says that his folks plan to do an, and I quote, Christian crusade march to Dearborn City Hall. He had also come previously to Dearborn in the past with similar motives. But it seems this is the most recent one, live, happening right before our eyes.
Against the Jew, the enemy of all mankind. One struggle, the Torah, Naheed.
As you can hear, there's people with megaphone horns, sharing how they feel about what's going on here. And as you can see, we've also got our police on the other side of this barrier, again, trying to keep people away from the building. But what I can say here is we're going to be very, very careful as we share the audio with you guys. I do want you to hear what's going on as well as see it, but sometimes there is sensitive language that is used, so bear with us as we get on through it. With that said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'll try to get into some of our trending news of the day, caught up again on some local stories as well. I'm Judea Murray. This is Philadelphia Live, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Had to break Jane Leonard up to the desk. Hey. We've got a lot going on, so many different things that are trending right now. You always keep your ear to the ground on what people are clicking on, watching, scrolling upon. What have you got for us?
Okay, so I saw this article and I found it super interesting because I feel like it's super relevant to recent world events.
Okay.
So, okay, I know that's broad, but you remember coronavirus and that outbreak and the cruise ship and all of that. Okay, well, the CDC just released a list of sanitation and cruise ships. So they kind of broke down. Yes. So they kind of broke down who's doing good, who's not doing good, and so not to throw them under the bus, but I'm gonna tell you some of the lowest ones. So Carnival Dawn. Okay. So yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up the full list. So it's Carnival Dawn, National Geographic Sea Lion, so they received scores of 86, and then Sun Princess, MSC, and Amadia, I think that's how you pronounce it, receive 89s.
I'm assuming 100% would be you're clean, everything is great.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I wonder, like, realistically,
What?
how do you feel about an 89, 80-ish? Is that bad?
Yeah,
Would you still take the trip?
Right. I mean, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like, it's not terrible, but, like, I mean, like, you got to think about it almost like a restaurant. You know, if, like, there was a restaurant that had that score, how would you feel about eating there, you know?
Well, to be fair, Jake, I'm going to be honest. I actually don't look at the little poster outside. I know, in the window. So, to be honest, I wouldn't know if I was eating at an A-rated place. B, hopefully I'm not eating any place that can go all the way down to F. Well, shouldn't even be open at that point.
I mean, so these are all kind of like, they're the lowest ones, but they're like in the B tier.
Wait, 89 is one of the lowest
There's
ones?
these are some of like, I mean, some of like the mainstream ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about
They're
to
like,
say.
okay, well, they're
Sounds
like,
they're
yeah,
really
there's some that are like lower, but they're kind of like not any of like the big ones. These are like the ones that are the most like name brand, like known, and it's kind of placed on the bottom.
Here's your rating.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I would also argue that cruise is one of those things where if you're taking one, you probably know you're gonna get sick, and people just comes with the territory. I'm still gonna have a good time. You just don't expect to come home with the coronavirus.
Exactly. So like that's why I feel like this is so relevant right now based on what happened. I feel like some people might be a little bit more cautious on getting like on the B tier sanitary ships than they would have been before, but you're completely right. You know, like it's kind of like you go on and you're like, I might get sick. So I don't know.
So question for you all. One, back to me with the restaurant. Are you looking at the little poster in the window before you go eat somewhere? But then two, are you now going to look at some of the ratings for the cruise ships before you take a vacation, if that's something that you like to do? I've never been on a cruise.
Me neither. I haven't. Maybe we can plan a Fox 29 team bonding cruise.
That sounds cute. All right, so that's a look at what's trending. We're also showing you guys different things happening around town. I keep bringing it out to that Michigan protest because it is heating up at points. We're hearing a lot of passion there where people do have their megaphones and they're able to speak loudly to the crowd about their viewpoints. I had mentioned before that it seems that Jake, not the Jake that was just up here, but another Jake, Lang, has asked people to come down, suggesting that they do, and I quote, a Christian crusade march to Dearborn City Hall. So there was a city council meeting happening inside. As you could see, so many people have gathered. They've already been pushed a little further back through a barrier, so they're not able to be right up on the building anymore. Okay, it looks like we've got an arrest or at least a detainment live on camera. They did not show the individual's face, but we just saw him being led. Well, actually, it looks like they led him into City Hall, interestingly enough, but he did have cuffs on. His arms were behind his back. He was being escorted by an officer. That seems to be the situation that's unfolding out there. I'm still looking into more information on why he chose Dearborn, why everybody has come out for him. I will be honest with you all, this is my first time hearing his name, so there's still more research for me to do as I continue to bring you all the latest that's happening out here. But again, this is live imagery that we're getting from our sister station, just showing you the situation in Dearborn, Michigan. At the same time, we're also keeping our eyes on all these different watch parties in Florida. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break. I wanna remind you as well, triple shooting here in Philadelphia. What happened there with the victims? We'll touch base with Jeff Skaversky on it in just a second. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We're getting a live update on what's happening out there on Ridge Avenue. We heard a triple shooting of sorts taking place there. Jeff Skaversky rushed out to the scene to get as much information as possible. Jeff, I understand you're still getting ready for your 10 o'clock news hit, but what's going on right now?
Judea, Philadelphia police are investigating a triple shooting in North Philadelphia. They say 4 suspects got out of a silver-looking SUV just before 5 p.m. today on the 2200 block of Ridge Avenue, and they began firing, leaving at least 1 dead. Now take a look at the scene. This happened just before 5 p.m. today in front of the Dollar Way. Shattered glass everywhere. Philadelphia police say 3 victims were taken to Temple University Hospital after being shot. A 78-year-old man died after being hit in the back once. Now, the 2 others are in stable condition and are expected to survive, according to police, including a 31-year-old man who police say was shot 4 to 5 times. Now, detectives say they found over 50 shell casings at the scene, but it appears there's at least 71, according to evidence markers. Police say they don't have a motive at this time, nor do they know if this was a targeted act.
Individuals in the SUV, is there any description about what they were wearing at this point, or is that still being under review?
That's something we're going to work on to get specific. I don't want to provide any information at this time, but we do have a good recording from our police real-time crime cameras. And like I said, there's numerous other private surveillance cameras that were also very, very close on both sides of the street. So we're pretty confident that we're going to have several different angles and several different recordings of this triple shooting.
Yeah, as you heard there, those real-time crime cameras from police, they have the actual shooting that occurred, that triple shooting in North Philadelphia. They've been combing through that footage, as well as multiple angles from nearby businesses on that block, have surveillance video as well. They are looking through that as we speak, trying to figure out who these suspects were and obviously, make arrests here in this case. We're live tonight at Philadelphia Police Headquarters. Jeff Skaversky, Fox 29. Judea?
Jeff, I appreciate you giving us this report. We had only had little information, so getting to see you out on the scene, sharing the soundbite of what's going on there, we appreciate it. I just want to bring things back here to me in studio and remind everybody that coming up, we'll be able to listen to that full press conference from the officers who shared more information about what was happening out there. From there, you were able to get what we know so far as it pertains to the victims, the potential suspects in this case, and the vehicles that may have been involved in some way, shape, or form. So again, that is a look at what's going on out there with Jeff. Soon, we'll also get you updated on everything you need to know about this Tupac Shakur murder trial. Again, we're calling it that, but what we're really seeing here is a man accused of kind of getting everybody together, participating as the ringleader in order to carry out this shooting death that happened in 1996. His name, you guys, is Dwayne Davis. He goes by Keefe D. They say that he was a gang leader. Nowadays, apparently he had written a book and has been speaking publicly about having some sort of involvement with this case. But we've also been shown from his attorneys, they're saying, well, my client doesn't tell the truth. He's a liar. You can't believe him. So that seems to be their defense. Meanwhile, the prosecutors are trying their very best to push the narrative forward that he knew exactly what he was doing, that what he has said in his book is factual, and they're trying to get a jury to be able to believe that and eventually convict him of participating in the murder of rap legend Tupac Shakur. So that is happening in Las Vegas. We've got eyes on the situation as well from Los Angeles. As you can imagine, a lot of people in California are really interested in seeing what comes to be of their favorite West Coast rapper's murder trial. So we'll have a live update with Fox News in just a second on what's going on there. Meanwhile, it is election night across Florida, Wyoming, and Alaska. We have eyes on the situation specifically in Florida. We'll be able to show you pretty soon what's going on out there as polls have closed, the votes are being tallied up, and we see who's going to make it into the midterm elections. You guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, get you caught up on everything that you need to know across the country. We'll be right back after this. guys, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. We're keeping you updated on some stories that are happening all across the nation, even though I'm based here in Philly. Got my eyes on just about everything. I saw in our live stream chat, someone said they wanted Justin for Nolan Wells. Well, I do hear that they've got a national prayer rally set up for his family, his friends. You've got to look at the poster right there. Pastor Jamal Bryant is putting it together. It'll be streaming on his podcast, but it looks like they're calling all faith leaders, supporters to call in and listen in. Dr. Jamal Bryant is expected to deliver a keynote address. Keep in mind, this is also expected to be Nolan Wells' 19th birthday. Unfortunately, let me back up just in case you guys are unfamiliar with what happened here altogether. Nolan Wells is a teenager from Mississippi who was hanging out with some friends 4th of July weekend. They went off to this island that's nearby. Well, it turns out that the friends have come back. Nolan Wells did not. 2 days later, they discovered his body in the water. Now, they're trying to figure out what exactly happened here. It hasn't been ruled a drowning. We've had an autopsy done, an official autopsy, as well as an independent autopsy, and both really haven't delivered any conclusion about how Nolan died. We're still waiting on information from the attorneys. We're waiting on information from the medical examiner's office and anyone else who may be able to come forward. His friends have spoken in multiple different arenas about what they say took place that day. It seems to be, especially on social media, not a lot of people believe them, but they are sharing their side of the story. Meanwhile, on his side of things, as I mentioned, Nolan Wells would be turning 19 years old, and so they're having this national prayer rally. It's going to take place in Mississippi. Again, they're asking for people to call in. You'll hear a message of what they're calling, and I quote, truth, transparency, and accountability. It takes place at 7 p.m. at Greater St. John AME Church, that is in Mississippi. And again, we're also knowing that New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, Dr. Jamal Bryant will be there to deliver the keynote address. It'll also be streaming on his podcast, just in case anyone is looking further for where they can stream that and listen to it if you don't live in the area. So I just wanted to share just a little bit of what's going on there. I also want to remind you that soon we'll have a live update for you on what's going on with the Tupac Shakur murder trial. But another trial that I've found very interesting, I've been listening into day in, day out, is that of Lindsay Clancy. She's a mother from Massachusetts who's accused of murdering her 3 children. Now, she has admitted to carrying out these killings. Her husband had been at the store. He had come back home to find her, as they say that she attempted to take her own life. He then went into the basement and found his 3 children. They did not survive, all under the age of 5 years old, you guys. Well, she has been talking more and more about what's going on with her, and her husband, even her mother-in-law, have also testified. They're talking about, as you can see there, you've got a list of medications, you've got documentation that suggests that she had suicidal thoughts from time to time. They're trying to go with the defense that yes, she did do this, but that she was suffering from some sort of postpartum psychosis. You may have heard of postpartum depression. They say that this goes a step further, where she was hearing voices. She had been medicated. They say that she tried to reach out time and time again for help, and that somehow, some way, she was never able to see it. So we heard from a couple of different people testifying for her, including her mother-in-law. Today, she sat on the stand. We'll share with you some of the remarks that she had, and I do want to remind you that this is a sensitive case. We're talking about children's deaths, and we're also talking about suicide in this case. So viewer discretion advised when we do get there. But let's get back onto the Tupac Shakur murder trial. I want to touch base with Fox News' Amalia Roy, who's been keeping up with everything that's going on out there as the trial gets underway in Vegas. Keep in mind, Tupac died back in 1996 during a shooting attack, a drive-by it seems, out in Las Vegas back in 1996. Amalia Roy is joining us live from Los Angeles to share any updates that she can with the trial. It looks like Amalia is actually not ready just yet. You guys, maybe we'll take a quick commercial break and touch base with her team just to see where she's at. We'll try to get you that live report in a second, so don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Let's get right back into it. I was mentioning that we're keeping up with the murder trial of rapper Tupac Shakur. Remember back in 1996, it was everywhere. He was out at a club in Las Vegas, and they say that he was killed during some sort of maybe a drive-by like shooting. Well, one of the people that may have been involved in all this, at least may have orchestrated it, is on trial as we speak. Fox News' Amalia Roy is joining us live from Los Angeles to share what's going on in the trial. Amalia?
Good evening, Judea. Yes, it is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis who is being charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, prosecutors aren't saying that he pulled the trigger. They're saying that he planned the attack and that he provided the gun. So today we've been hearing from witnesses who are helping to paint the timeline for the prosecution side, at least, towards what happened leading up to that drive-by shooting right off the Vegas Strip. We've heard from expert witnesses going back through old records from nearly 30 years ago in those initial reports. We're also hearing from witnesses who were on the scene and people associated with Shakur and the Death Row Records founder, Marion Suge Knight.
I'm 61 years old now. To rehash and relive this situation again, I told every attorney in here that tried to get me to come here, you better treat me as a hostile witness. And I think that's where I'm about to go now, because you're asking me questions. I can't answer those questions.
Yesterday, we heard firsthand testimony that largely focused on the night of the shooting back in 1996. Prosecutors say Davis and 3 other men were in a white Cadillac when they pulled up next to Shakur and Death Row Records founder Suge Knight at a red light off the Vegas Strip. At some point, they say Davis passed a Glock towards the back of the vehicle. Then someone fired multiple rounds at Shakur and Knight, hitting both men. One witness we heard from was a woman named Ingrid Stokes yesterday, who said that she and her friends were following Shakur's car that night because they were planning to meet them at a nightclub. That's when she says they heard gunshots.
How many gunshots there were, honestly, but I know I put the car in drive, and I told her to get the hell out of there and drive. And so I may even grab the wheel. Like I said, I'm very aggressive, and from that, she tried to drive off.
We also heard from former Las Vegas police investigators, including one who says he rode with Shakur in the ambulance to the hospital.
Convince him to tell me the name of whoever his assailants were.
And did he ever respond?
Yes, he responded, no, we'll take care of it. So something like that.
Court is in recess and they'll return tomorrow morning. If Davis is convicted, he could be facing life in prison. Judea?
Amaya, I've been listening to this here from Philadelphia as well, and kind of going with what you were saying there, it's interesting to hear some of the witnesses who really don't want to be witnesses in this case. I'm just curious, with some people suggesting that it would be difficult for them to speak up, some people even opting not to come to court. Do you think we really will ever know what happened really with Tupac?
This is something where the prosecution's case really rests heavily on Davis's own statements, but his own defense team will argue that a lot of that was a work of fiction, not to be taken seriously in a court of law, and that they're claiming that the prosecution won't be able to actually really say what happened and definitively say, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Davis is the one who orchestrated the attack. But yes, as you said, we know that there are some witnesses that don't want to speak. Part of today included talking about the gang ties with all of these attacks involved. And so we know that some of these members were associated with Death Row Records that are saying that they don't want to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you see how deep it goes if nearly 30 years later people are still afraid, nervous, looking over their shoulder at what would happen next. Do you have any idea how long it could possibly take for us to get a verdict in this case?
Well, even just going through the prosecution's case itself, we know that they have a very long witness list, multiple documents over multiple pages just to look through all of them. And so we still need to finish the prosecution's case, then of course the defense. So this could take weeks.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes on it from here in Philadelphia. Hopefully be able to talk with you again all the way out in Los Angeles. Again, Amalia, appreciate you breaking down what's happening with the Tupac Shakur case. It's a case I think all of us are interested in hearing more about. And from that trial to another, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to get right back into that trial for the mother accused of murdering her 3 children, Lindsay Clancy. Now, today, we heard a lot of different testimony, but 2 people in particular I think you'll be interested in. We've got her mother-in-law, who talked to the kind of duress that she believed her daughter-in-law to have been under when this all happened. We've also got a psychiatrist who can talk to her mental health. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Quick question for you all. What kind of defense would it take for you to accept or at least excuse a mother accused of murdering her 3 children? Because in the case of Lindsay Clancy, they're suggesting that she wasn't in her right mental state when all of this went down. As a matter of fact, even her mother-in-law says that she was begging and pleading for help, some type of help with her mental health. That meant she tried to get medication. Medication wasn't working for her. She tried to reach out to a number of different organizations, according to some communication between the 2 of them. She says her daughter-in-law tried over and over again to get someone to listen to her, hear that she was suffering. Obviously, it seems that no one was able to get through to her. And then we've got this fateful day where they say that she murdered her 3 children, all under the age of 5. So I want to let you listen in. We'll start with her mother-in-law's testimony. It's going back and forth between the defense attorneys and the prosecutors as they try to get down to the real nitty-gritty of what was actually done for Lindsay. Take a listen.
Hi, counsel.
So you were aware, Mrs. Clancy, about the stay at McLean Hospital from January 1st to January 5th, correct?
Yes.
And did you come to the house to help with the kids during that time period?
Yes.
And fair to say, when she came home on the 5th, there was a party for Cora on the 7th.
Yes.
Did you go to the birthday party?
No.
Were you at the house much between January 7th and January 24th?
I don't remember.
Do you recall previously reporting that you hadn't been at the house?
I don't remember.
And during that time period, you never took the kids on a day trip or for a visit?
I don't recall.
And were you aware that between January 7th and January 24th that Pat and Lindsay went to the Cape Codder with the kids?
I'm aware of that.
And that they went to the Museum of Science with the kids?
Yes.
And that Pat left Dawson and Callan home, or excuse me, left Dawson and Callan home to go take Cora skiing. Were you aware of that?
It sounds accurate to me.
On the ski trip, did they ask you to come over and stay with Lindsay while she was with the other kids?
I don't remember.
And you were asked on direct examination about Lindsay going to see providers, and you said, I think she was begging for help, right?
She was.
Did you attend any of those meetings with her, therapists or doctors?
No.
So you don't know what she told the providers, right?
I don't know.
And you don't know what kind of help she asked for other than medication, do you?
No.
And do you know whether there was any other options offered to her other than McLean, like a partial hospitalization program or intensive outpatient? Were you aware of those options?
Yeah.
And do you know if she went?
She went to Women and Infants.
So that's the one day where Pat dropped her off and went skiing and then came back, right?
I believe so.
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Ray, can you redirect?
So she asked you about options that were available to Lindsay, correct?
Yes.
And you mentioned one of them was that she could go to the Women and Infants program in Rhode Island that specializes in perinatal and postpartum, right?
Yes.
You know that she went there, right?
Correct.
You know she was turned away because she was over-medicated, right?
Yes.
You also know that they gave her numbers to call suicide hotlines, right?
Yes.
She called twice, not once, but twice, and again was turned away. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Como.
Just on that. So you're aware she was turned away because she told you she was turned away, right?
I don't remember the details of that visit or that day.
You didn't review the records, did you?
No.
So you're not aware that they actually deferred to Pat and Lindsay reporting over medication?
I remember something being said that she wasn't a candidate for that program. That's what I recall being told by Patrick and Lindsay.
Okay. And that's because everything she described was reported connected to medication and occurred well after what's considered the postpartum period, right?
I don't know.
Well, you're a labor and delivery nurse. You know the postpartum period could be up to a year, right?
I've heard it could be longer.
But generally, it's within the first 12 weeks that you start to see some symptoms.
I don't know.
But you're aware that she was sent from Women and Infants with actually several options, where it included inpatient treatment for medication management, a partial hospitalization program focused on general mental health, or continued outpatient management. That's what she was sent away with.
Okay.
Nothing further.
May I? One more?
Go ahead. One.
So outpatient management, that would include somebody like Gelada, right?
Yes.
You know that Women and Infants called Gelada and she never called them back?
I didn't know that.
Como, anything on that? All right.
All right, so again, that was just a snippet, of that back and forth from the defense attorneys to the prosecution. They're all questioning the mother-in-law of Lindsay Clancy. She was able to testify in the beginning of what she felt were cries for help, signs that Lindsay Clancy needed further either medication or supervision, or for someone just to step in and intervene. She said that she knew that her daughter-in-law had suicidal ideations. She didn't know that it would go this far. Now, as you could hear then, we also heard from the other side, they hamper down on that and just ask her what were the reasons she was turned away. It wasn't necessarily that no one was listening. Maybe there was something else at play. I also want to let you listen into a psychiatrist who also spoke up. We got to hear from him as well, and this just goes a little deeper into sharing the kind of mental space that Lindsay may have been in when she carried out the murder of her 3 children. Take a listen.
August of 2022. What was her mood at that point?
Her mood was waxing and waning at times, but struggling as well in common sense ways. Having 3 children, ages 5 and under, not an easy task.
So in the fall of 2022, when she went to see Dr. Tufts, that's when she was prescribed the first SSRI.
Zoloft, yes.
And that would, and again, when she had the second baby, that would be Dawson.
Yes.
Did she have also indicia, symptomology of anxiety and the symptoms that she had described that required that she had to be placed on some medication?
Yes, she did.
What was that medication?
I believe that was trazodone, if I'm not mistaken.
When she was in nursing school, prior to that, was she placed on medication?
Yes, she was.
And that was because of public speaking nerves? What was the medication?
There were multiple medications. I believe it was propranolol, and I believe it may have been trazodone and Wellbutrin, but I'm not totally positive of that.
Do you recall that she was prescribed an SSRI when she was in nursing school?
Yes.
What was that?
That was Zoloft.
When she saw Dr. Tufts and she took the Zoloft, it was 25 milligrams initially, is that correct?
Yes.
Was it increased?
It was increased to 50 milligrams sometime later.
And
Yes.
how did she react to that?
She didn't take the medication initially. She waited a few weeks until she started on the lower dose.
So my question was, how did she react to the increase in the Zoloft?
Poorly.
What does that mean?
It was not a therapeutic uplift for her. She didn't do well. She didn't feel better. By all reports from Ms. Clancy, she did not get better.
How about sleeping? Did she have any complaints about sleeping?
Yes.
What was that?
Her insomnia got worse with the passage of time.
As September turned into October, it turns into November, around the time of Thanksgiving. Had she continued to seek help from medical health care providers?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Who did she seek to get help from?
Well, the initial person, I believe, was her mother-in-law, Sue Clancy, and who was a labor and delivery nurse who knew people.
Who did she see as a result of Sue Clancy?
I believe it was Julie Paul initially.
And what group was she affiliated with?
South Shore Perinatal Health.
Did Ms. Paul, nurse practitioner Paul, prescribe medication for her?
Yes.
And did she continue to deal with South Shore Perinatal?
Yes.
At some point, did she stop dealing shortly, a short period of time, with nurse practitioner Paul?
Yes, Nurse Paul left.
And why was that?
She got a transfer position. It had nothing to do with her patient load, or
so she was transferred.
She was transferred.
Okay.
Yes.
So as a short period of time, she was transferred. Who was the next person that she dealt with?
Rebecca Gelada.
Did Rebecca Gelada have a particular position? Was she a nurse practitioner?
Yes.
And how long did she deal with Rebecca Gelada?
3 appointments.
And during that period of time with Rebecca Gelada, was she prescribed medication?
Yes.
What was the medication?
I believe it was Seroquel.
How did she react to that?
Poorly.
And as time went by, going into the holiday season, Thanksgiving, do you recall what her symptomology and complaints were to the healthcare providers at that point, whether it be Tufts or Gelada, anybody?
Yes.
What were they?
She had many concerns about her health. She wasn't feeling well. She felt...
Okay, you guys, I just, again, wanted to share with you all a couple of different pieces of testimony that we've gotten out of today's bout of the Lindsay Clancy trial. I do think that we are now on day 15 or so. So just about 2 weeks we've been watching and listening and seeing what's going to be said, what will be made of this case. I'm not quite sure how many people are left on the witness list or any other officials who can speak to what she was going through, but that's a look at what's happening out in Massachusetts. Now, live, we've got a couple of different things unfolding before our eyes. Out in Florida, remember, it is primary day. Alaska and Wyoming are going through it too, but a lot of people have their eyes specifically on the Florida races, and that's because one seat in particular is going to be really interesting. This is the 25th Congressional District that we're talking about here in southern part of the state. Remember, Florida in certain areas has gone redistricting, and so they've redrawn their maps. A lot of people are wondering whether a Democrat or Republican could take over. In one particular race that I think is interesting, we've got Representative Byron Donalds, who says he wants to be Florida's new governor. He wants to take over for Ron DeSantis when his time is done. He just came out to start speaking and address his watch party. Let's go ahead and take a listen in.
Let's go beat David Jolly in November. You see, because individual opinions and passionate supporters are the beauty of our conservative movement. But tonight, the primary is over. Tonight, we put aside our differences. Tonight, we are one united Republican Party. You see, I remember Erica and I were sitting around a fire pit last year with friends, and we were talking about this campaign, and we were talking about the future of Florida. No matter the issue or the policy, the conversation always ended with us talking about the Florida dream. For us, it's personal. You know my story. I came to Florida 30 years ago on a Greyhound bus. At 17 years old, with just a trunk full of clothes, I arrived in Tallahassee. Go Noles. Go Noles. I could have sworn it was opening weekend here in Orlando because it became Noles Nation here tonight. But in all honesty, and Blaise Ngolia, our CFO, is here with us. Blaise, congratulations on a decisive victory. And Blaise has heard me say this, and I mean it. I love all of our schools now. I love them all. When Erica and I got married, it wasn't always easy. Our first apartment was 1,200 square feet, and it had those old Jalowsi windows. We didn't have the money for the security deposit, so we had to roll that into our rent. I worked at Cracker Barrel and moved furniture on the weekends just to make ends meet. Erica was 6 months pregnant with our first son, and she worked full-time as a staff accountant while working for Kelly Services on the weekend. We did this to build a life for our family. This state gave me a chance. I went on to spend 17 years in banking, finance, and insurance, and it prepared me for the very real economic challenges that Floridians face every single day. You see, the Florida dream to us is clear. It's the promise that if you work hard, you can get ahead, own a home, raise your family, and give your kids a better shot than you had without government holding you back. In Florida, we have built a strong foundation under former Governor Rick Scott. And under Governor Ron DeSantis, we have supercharged that foundation, making Florida the envy of every state in America. We are going to continue that legacy and take Florida to the next level. To protect and expand that dream for the next generation, my administration will be guided by 3 pillars: making Florida accountable, achievable, and most of all, affordable. An affordable Florida starts with a limited government that respects hardworking taxpayers who fund it. Under my watch, every contract, every budget, and every fee this state spends will be posted online, out in the open, where you can see it. We are going to continue the Department of Government Efficiency that was started here in Florida under Governor DeSantis. As your governor, we are going to doge all local governments and all state agencies. There will be no sacred cows. Taxpayers deserve to know that their hard-earned dollars are being spent efficiently, transparently, and with total integrity. An achievable Florida means every Florida child gets a real shot at the Florida dream, no matter where they start. We are going to make sure our kids master math, reading, and writing, not just to have the best K-12 system in America, but to have the best K-12 system in the world. And we know in a modern economy, there are multiple ways to be successful. That's why we're establishing the Launchpad Initiative, an employer-led program connecting high school juniors and seniors with in-demand careers in construction, aerospace, defense, and manufacturing. They will learn, they will earn, and they will graduate into high-paying six-figure jobs without student debt. Because if a kid can make real money right out of high school, that's a kid already building the Florida dream for themselves. And right here in Florida, we are going to lead the world in commercial space. Cape Canaveral is no longer a museum. It is the most active spaceport in the Western Hemisphere. We are going to slash the red tape, expand our technical workforce, and keep the welders, machinists, and engineers of the future right here in the Sunshine State. An affordable Florida means a Florida that stays a place that you can actually afford to live. From your tax bill to your insurance premium to the cost of your health care. First, we're going to keep cutting your taxes. When I was in Washington as a member of Congress, I fought for your federal taxes to be cut. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the largest tax cut on Social Security in this country's history. That's real money back in your pockets, in the pockets of Florida workers and Florida's retirees. And as your governor, I will continue to fight to make sure you keep more of your hard-earned money. On property taxes, whether Amendment 3 passes or fails, we are going to reform property taxes in our state with the goal of eliminating homestead property taxes once and for all. And if the math can't take us there, we will target that relief to our seniors on fixed income and our working families who want Florida to remain their home. And let's be very clear. And I see Sheriff T.K. Waters from Duval County is right here in front. How you doing, T.K.? At the same time, hey, Steve Wood in Hendry County. At the same time, we will not jeopardize funding for our police, firefighters, and first responders. Because they have our backs, and we have theirs. On insurance, you pay your premium every single month on time, and you deserve real results. We will create a public scorecard on every insurance company in Florida, tracking how fast they pay claims and how often they deny them, bringing real competition, real transparency, and real accountability to drive rates down. On housing, we are going to slash government red tape, so that whether you're a young worker starting out or a growing family or a senior on fixed income, you can actually buy and afford a home in Florida.
All right, you guys, so that was just a little bit of the, well, I'll call it a victory speech on the Republican side for Byron Donalds. Again, he wants the seat for governor to replace Ron DeSantis, but he's not the only person who wants the seat. Over on the Democratic side of things, we hear David Jolly seems to have secured the nomination for Democrats, with about 61.1%, it seems, of the vote having been counted there. This is at least what the Associated Press is reporting. On the Republican side of things, Byron Donalds seems to be the front runner. So it seems that when the November election comes around, those two will be going head to head. So on the right side of the screen, you're taking a live look at David Jolly's watch party. I'm sure that there's a lot of livelihood in the room. I just want to see if we can take a listen in real quick. Okay. It seems no, the sound is not up on this particular event, but again, that is taking place in Florida as well. I wanted to show you both sides so that you know we are covering all things happening in Florida. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. I want to get you caught up on some of our biggest news of the day. We're keeping our eyes on situations developing right here, home in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Delaware region, but we're also keeping our eyes on what's happening across the country. We'll be right back with your news of the day when we come back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. You are taking a live look out in Michigan, where we've been keeping our eyes on this ever so developing protest that's taking place right outside of the city council meeting in near Detroit. Excuse me. We're specifically talking about Dearborn. So again, we've been keeping you updated on why people even came out here. As you can see, there's a large police presence. They've got barriers set up. There was a much larger crowd earlier. So as you can see what we've got here, you can only imagine what we were looking at earlier today. Now, we're hearing that a man by the name of Jake Lang, he's an activist, said that he wanted to bring a large group of people out to this particular library, the Henry Ford Centennial Library. Now, we're also hearing that while he had a large group of his supporters, it seems that camera shot has come down. Let's come back here to me in studio. Our sister station was providing that live image that you guys were taking a look at. They have now taken it down. They've powered it down, and maybe it's possible that they are heading on home. Again, I mentioned that that crowd has downsized, but there are still some people very passionate out there speaking about, what they believe to be right and wrong. So again, we're hearing that this gentleman put together this larger protest. He wanted more people to come by. Meanwhile, agitators got on out there. So we're talking about anti-Islam protesters. We're also talking about pro-Muslim protesters. It also seems that we're talking about Nazi sympathizers, according to the latest from Fox 2 Detroit. So this was a much larger demonstration. Police had to be involved. We saw officers mounted up on horses. We saw them put up those barriers to keep protesters back from the official land there. Again, this was a crazy situation that we were seeing unfold before our very eyes. That shot has come down. We're going to try to get you some more information on what was taking place there. Meanwhile, I want to bring things back closer to home because we heard that the FBI Philadelphia has gotten involved in a much larger investigation into some people who may be impersonating officers. They say that they're targeting our Chinese students, our college students. So this is really big. Keep in mind, school's getting ready to start back up. Some college kids have already gotten on campus, ready for, what's to come with their fall semester. And it seems that there's a larger growing threat against international students, specifically our Chinese students. FBI Philadelphia's field office says they've been noticing an increase in people impersonating officers, then targeting these students, telling them that they've got to either allow themselves to be monitored, audio and video, 24/7. They're saying that they need to pay money. They're suggesting that they're being investigated for alleged crimes happening in China and that they'll have to pay to avoid arrest. Again, they're basically violating their rights as people, as humans. FBI Philadelphia says that they're working closely with the law enforcement nearby, so that could be Philadelphia, it could be a couple of other areas that we're looking at here, in order to protect those international students from being taken advantage of. These are people who have traveled all the way over here to America to get a good education, and they should be able to get that safely and securely. They say if anyone you know or you yourself has been targeted in one of these scams, they want you to come forward. This is the FBI Philadelphia speaking. They want you to report that crime because it says it helps them hold the people who are responsible accountable. And it'll help them make sure this doesn't happen to another person. It'll also help them keep those vulnerable individuals from being exploited. So we're keeping our eye on that particular situation. Again, they're saying that they're calling people. They're suggesting that you need to wire a large sum of money to a Chinese bank account or cryptocurrency exchange. Unfortunately, a lot of students are falling for it, going for it, but they're saying they want to spread the word so that this does not continue. So if you've got a family member, a friend who's studying out here in the Philadelphia region, or at least one of our colleges in Pennsylvania at all, and they've heard of stuff like this, please have them reach out to the FBI. They will be able to do further research and hopefully make some arrests. That's what's going on there. I also heard, now this is an interesting one. Seems Costco is going to start selling Medicare plans. I had to read that twice because I wasn't quite sure, but they say it's going to bring greater value to our senior citizens. So the latest here is they announced this today. Costco, the shop that a lot of you guys like going to, it saves you some money. They say they're going to have store-branded Medicare plans. Would you be interested in something like that? It's the first in some insurance products that will be released there over the coming years, again, to bring those plans at a better cost to our senior citizens. So, Costco sells just about everything. Your groceries, your gas, apparently gold bars too, so I guess why not add Medicare plans to the list of things? But I'm just curious, some of their products are really nice quality, so would you be interested in it? They're going to be sold in Costco stores as well as through insurance agents and online. That will be happening soon, but they made the announcement today. Crazy stuff here, you guys. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, get you back involved in what's going on across the country. Keep in mind, it's primary night for Florida, Wyoming, and Alaska as well. We'll be keeping our eyes on their election results, and we'll have more when we come back. right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I want to get you caught up as we approach our 9 o'clock hour of news with some of the biggest things that we've been covering right here on Fox 29 Philadelphia. So one of our reporters, Jeff Skaversky, is live on the scene at Ridge Avenue. We heard that there was a triple shooting. One man lost his life during this. They're saying over 50 bullets had been fired from a gun during this shooting. So earlier today, maybe about, I would say 2 or so hours ago, there was a live press conference where officers were able to talk to the media about all the information they have so far. I want to let you listen into what officials are telling us took place.
All right. Just before 5 p.m., 22nd District Police responded to several 911 calls, report of gunshots, multiple gunshots, and report of a shooting in the 2200 block of Ridge Avenue. When police arrived on location, they found 3 shooting victims. There was a 31-year-old male shot multiple times in his lower back and leg. There was a 71-year-old male shot what appears to be twice in his back. And there was a 78-year-old male shot what appears to be 1 time in his back. Police took all 3 victims to Temple Hospital. The 78-year-old male who was shot once in the back was pronounced dead at 5:15 p.m. The other 2 victims, age 31 and 71, were initially put in critical condition, but they have recently been upgraded to stable condition. So at this time, they are expected to survive. But the 78-year-old victim, who was struck once in the back, was pronounced dead at Temple Hospital at 5:15 p.m. Now, the crime scene is all on the highway and on the sidewalk in the 2200 block of Ridge Avenue, where we found over 50 spent shell casings from several different caliber semi-automatic weapons. Clearly, the spent shell casings are different sizes and different calibers. So we believe several semi-automatic weapons were fired. Now, right now, we don't have a motive, but our police real-time crime cameras did record the incident, and you can clearly see what appears to be a light-colored or silver SUV traveling south on Ridge Avenue, where it stops in the 2200 block. It appears 4 individuals get out of that SUV on both sides, the driver's side and passenger side, and began firing shots. After firing the shots, the 4 shooters get back in the silver SUV. That vehicle's last seen south on Ridge Avenue from the 2200 block. But we have over 50 spent shell casings on both sides of the street and some on the sidewalk. There is 1 vehicle parked unattended, struck by gunfire, and there was a business struck multiple times by gunfire. And you can clearly see bullet holes in that business, and the glass doors completely shattered, and there's a lot of glass on the sidewalk as well as inside of the store. Now, that business was open at the time, but it appears that all 3 of the victims were outside on the sidewalk when they were struck by gunfire. No motive at this time. In addition to the police real-time crime cameras that did record the incident, and police and investigators did review the recording, we also fortunately found numerous businesses on both sides of the street, and many of these businesses also have exterior surveillance cameras. Some of those cameras are just a few feet away from where we found the victims, and just a few feet away from where we found the ballistic evidence. So we're pretty confident that these additional cameras will record additional angles that'll help us with this triple shooting investigation.
Does it appear that any of the victims were targeted, or were any of them innocent bystanders? Do you know that at this point?
It's hard to tell at this time. Preliminary information is these 3 victims were standing pretty much in close proximity to each other. Now, the 31-year-old victim is the one who was hit the most times. He's hit at least 4 or 5 times. The 71-year-old male, who also survived, the last information I got from the hospital was he's hit twice in the back. The 78-year-old who died at the hospital, the last information I received from the hospital that he was only suffering from one gunshot wound to his back. Unknown who the intended target is, but the 31-year-old is hit at least 4 or 5 times. So that 31-year-old victim may be the intended target, unknown at this time.
This was a pretty busy area. This happened in the middle of the day. We're talking, you said, 50 bullets. I mean, this could have been way.
Yes, Ridge Avenue in the 2200 block around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This happened just before, around quarter of, is not only heavy pedestrian traffic, and crowds are always known to loiter and hang out on the businesses out here, but it's also very heavy vehicular traffic on Ridge Avenue, which is a thoroughfare here in North Philly, and this was the heart of rush hour. So we know that there was a lot of not only vehicular traffic, but also pedestrian traffic and individuals that hang out. Because both of the businesses on both sides of the street, many of them are still open for business. But we still had 3 victims, 1 dead, so this is a tragedy.
The 4 individuals in the SUV, is there any description about what they were wearing at this point, or is that still being under review as you?
That's something we're going to work on to get specific. I don't want to provide any information at this time, but we do have a good recording from our police real-time crime cameras. And like I said, there's numerous other private surveillance cameras that were also very, very close on both sides of the street. So we're pretty confident that we're going to have several different angles and several different recordings of this triple shooting.
Police over there are keeping an eye on a car on Ridge Avenue across the street. How's that car involved, or was that hit?
There's a white sedan on CB Moore at Ridge. The only reason we're holding that as a crime scene is in plain view in the back seat there appears to be some blood on the back seat. We're not certain at this time, but since it appears to be blood, we're going to hold that vehicle as part of the scene. From watching the recording, it doesn't appear that that vehicle was involved in the actual shooting, but we're not certain at this time, but we're holding that vehicle as part of the scene because it appears that there may be blood in the back seat.
And I know this question's kind of too early to ask, but is there any indication this has anything to do with the shootings from Friday night that are about 5 minutes away at, I want to say 24th and Gratz, 21st and Grass? I can't remember the specific addresses, but there were 2 shootings that happened within minutes apart. Are we too early to even determine?
That's our normal protocol and our normal investigative procedures. We're always going to look at other shootings in the area that not only happens close by in geography, but also close by in time, to see if they're related and to see if the method of operation is related and to see if the victims and today's victims are related. So we're always going to look to see if these shootings were related, or it may be a retaliation for these past shootings. But at this time, we don't know.
Gotcha.
Okay, so there you have it. Again, the officers were able to share more information about what they have on this particular case. Someone asked, did this happen today because they noticed it wasn't live? Yes, maybe about 2.5 hours ago, we had that press conference. I was able to record it and then share it with you guys. So now we're all up to date. Meanwhile, Jeff Skaversky, one of our reporters, is live out there on the scene, just trying to get and gather more information about what took place. We're going to have an article available for you on the Free Fox Local app. You can also go to fox29.com to find it. It's probably one of the trending stories at the top of our webpage if, again, you guys are interested in learning more. But that was the latest of what the officers have told us about the situation. I think one thing that I picked out that I found very interesting about this particular shooting, they said a car, an SUV, maybe a light colored SUV, pulled up with 4 people in it, and all 4 people get out and open fire. You usually hear about situations like this where a car will come up and maybe one person starts shooting or shooting into a crowd, or maybe there's an exchange. But to hear that all 4 people in this SUV got out and opened fire makes me wonder what really happened out there on Ridge Avenue. We're going to try our best to get you guys some information. They say they've got that surveillance video, so hopefully they'll be able to share that with us soon, so maybe someone can put eyes on a potential suspect and maybe identify someone for the officers. That'll be very, very helpful. Meanwhile, I also want to get you caught up. Earlier today, we heard that there's the trial going on for Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram. You guys probably use it every single day. Some of you may be watching this live stream from one of those platforms. Well, 29 states are accused of 29 states are accusing Meta of having algorithms set up to exploit children. They say that they cause kids to get addicted to these social media platforms. They'll scroll and scroll and scroll, and that it's harmful for their own mental health. So again, they're focusing on these addictions. They want the company to pay out anywhere between $200 billion, maybe even up to $1 trillion, I'm hearing in some cases. Meanwhile, we're hearing from Meta that they think that this is just an attempt to get as much money as possible, that these states don't really care about the kids. Well, I will tell you one thing, right outside that courtroom, we heard from victims and parents. They testified and spoke to the media about how they feel about this whole situation with Meta. They talked more about some of the incidents that they've experienced firsthand. And I want to let you know right now, some of these things get graphic. They can get emotional, but I want you to take a listen.
Surrounded by other survivor parents, but also feeling deeply for all of those that were not there with us. Along with our dear supporters and friends, we decided to create something that memorializes all the lives cut short by preventable design choices. It's not just a banner. Every name that I wrote on there is a promise that these children will never be forgotten, and that their stories will force accountability where silence once reigned. You can see at the far end of the banner where it looks a bit different. That's because I came to California again from very northern New York because we had to add more names since we finished that banner in LA in March. Today, the playing field feels level for the first time, thanks to those who refuse to look away. But justice shouldn't depend on timing or luck. Justice should just be the standard. I'm demanding that lawmakers stop protecting predators in suits and start protecting our children, our future. Riley's story shouldn't have been just another headline. It should have been a turning point. It should have been the end. This banner keeps growing because of corporate predatory design choices. Thank you for being here, and some other survivor parents are going to share their story. Next up, we're so glad to have Dawson. Dawson is one of the youth advocates here with us. Thank you so much, Dawson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dawson Kelly, DAWSON-KELLY, and I'm with Design It For Us. My name is Dawson Kelly. I'm a UC Berkeley student and a member of Design It For Us. We are a coalition of over 600 young people advocating for policy that protects us online and holding big tech accountable. But before any of that, I was a guinea pig. As a child, I was unknowingly subject in a great experiment, one in which the company inside that courthouse reduced my childhood into watch time and sold it to advertisers. One in which people who understood my brain better than I did, knowingly and deliberately addicted me to apps that pulled me out of the real world and stunted my growth. One in which designers exploited the insecurities and awkwardness that come with growing up in order to create a machine that distracted and divided us. For more than 2 decades, they ran their experiment on an entire generation. They measured us, tested us, and optimized us. To them, we were not children. We were data. But this week, the experiment itself goes on trial. 29 states inside that courthouse saying what every kid who lived this already knows, that none of this was an accident. They did this knowing they were harming kids, all by design in pursuit of another dollar. My parents' generation watched the same 3 television channels. They argued, sure, but they argued about the same world. These companies got my generation and siloed them into 1 billion private channels, each one high-tuned to hijack our weaknesses. Holding these companies accountable will not bring back the time or the people we have all lost. But this justice brings us closer to a world where addiction is no longer our predetermined destiny. A world where when I wake up and the first thing I think about is my own life, not the question of whether I'm enough, not the version of me they're selling before I even get out of bed. A world where our ability to be present isn't up for grabs the moment we come out of the womb and auctioned off to this multi-trillion-dollar industry. A world where presence is the default of the next generation, the way it was for every generation before mine. A world where my generation is not remembered as the anxious generation, but the generation that is beginning to get its life back. That world becomes a possibility through this trial, through the tireless efforts of parents and advocates and lawyers, through the increasing number of people across the globe that are building the courage to stand up to these corporations that have taken too much from us. That world gets a little closer today. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Josh Lowenthal. I'm an Assembly member. I'm the Speaker Pro Tem of the Assembly. I represent Long Beach. Last name spelled Lowenthal. I'm the lead author of AB 2 and AB 1709 that are moving through the California legislature. And I want to thank the parents, the survivors, the young people that are here, standing here together today. It takes an extraordinary courage to relive the unspeakable pain here in the public eye and to turn grief into action. We see you, we hear you, we're inspired by you, and we're taking action. I'm here not just as state legislator today, but as a father of 3 daughters. And like so many of you, I live this every single day. Every day I watch my girls navigate a digital world where platforms are running a massive, uncontrolled experiment on our children's minds, optimizing every scroll, every notification or engagement, not their well-being. And we didn't consent to that experiment. Our kids didn't either. And now we're seeing the results in the form of anxiety, depression, and in the most heartbreaking of cases, empty chairs at our family dinner tables. 80 miles from here in our state capital, we are on the doorstep of passing 2 of the most consequential laws in the country to change the relationship kids have with social media. The first will limit companies from deploying addictive features against kids under 16. Infinite scroll, autoplay, recommended algorithms, notifications, the very design choices engineered to hook developing brains. The second holds social media platforms financially liable when they're found negligent for the harm that they cause our kids. And we are developing and crafting this legislation so it can be cut and pasted and brought to state houses across the country until we get our federal government to act, because they have been derelict in their duty, providing no action, no oversight for this anxious generation, and we all see the results. Let's be clear about something. Legislation in and of itself will not get this done. What's happening in this courtroom, the litigation that you are pursuing, the truth that you are demanding to be told under oath, that work, shoulder to shoulder with the legislators across this country fighting the same fight, is how real change happens. It's a combination of that courage and those laws that will finally force accountability. And of note, the 29 states that are here are red states, blue states, purple states, just like the legislation that is moving across California. It is red, it is blue, it is purple. It is affecting every family in every corner of this state. In fact, I've yet to come across a family of school-age children that are not struggling with this issue. And I can tell you, it is the worst feeling of any parent to go into your child's room at 8 or 9 in the evening and they're by themselves, completely and totally stressed out. It has to change. We're demanding change, and we won't back down. So again, to the families, to the survivors, to everyone who chooses to stand up when it would have been so much easier to stay silent, we thank you. We're not stopping until every child is safer because of your work here. With that, I'd like to introduce true hero and inspiration to me, Juliana Arnold of Parents Rise.
Okay, before she goes ahead and takes over the podium, I want to bring things back in here with us. While I mentioned 29 states are suing Meta, I just want to mention that New Jersey happens to be one of them. They're actually one of the front runners in this lawsuit. So again, they're hoping for about $200 billion. Again, they say that Meta has targeted children, that they are kind of influencing these kids to become addicted to their social media platforms. Someone even suggested, if I can be clear here, we've got Deputy California Attorney General Megan O'Neill, who's launched her own case against Meta, hoping to reshape how Facebook, Instagram, and Meta in general, and even other social media platforms operate. She says that they have dug a little deeper and found that there were internal memos that suggested the young ones are the best ones. So they may be using that in the case as part of their investigation and their evidence. But again, they're arguing that the addictive platforms that Meta has created are causing children to develop things like anxiety, depression, and maybe even opt in to end their lives. So this will be continuing as we keep our eyes on this situation. This is not the first time we've heard of Meta coming under fire for how they approach children, but this seems to be the latest case. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to get you caught up on your weather forecast. We'll be touching base with Kathy Orr when we come back. right, welcome back to Philadelphia. Philadelphia Live. Goodness gracious, where is my brain at? Maybe out there at Citizens Bank Park, because we've been keeping our eyes on the Phillies, just trying to see whether or not they'll win again against the Miami Marlins tonight. Just take a quick look at their score. It looks like we are doing, refreshing my page for you guys. Hey, not too bad. We got 5 runs. The Marlins have 4. We're in the top of the 8th. It's really anybody's game. Fingers crossed that we come out on top, but if it's anything like last night, I don't think we have too much to worry about. Meanwhile, out at Citizens Bank Park, it looks a little foggy out there. Honestly, even here in the studio, it feels a little humid. I'm gonna check in with our forecast with Kathy Orr. Kathy, are you seeing this, what I'm seeing? Doesn't it look kind of foggy out there?
It does. It's almost like a haze, and it could be because of the humidity. It's pretty high out there, and I'll tell you, Judea, temperatures are still quite warm. I want to show you the setup, like what's going on out there right now. We have a front that's stalled to the south. There's still a lot of moisture over the region, high pressure to the southwest building in, and that's what's going to be bringing clear skies, drier air, lower humidity, and a really nice day tomorrow. So look at Ultimate Doppler. You can see the skies have cleared. So it's definitely the humidity. It's the haze out there. Down the shore, we had a few sprinkles. Now there's like a drop, and I think that's a false return from the radar. As we look at our beautiful city skyline, I mean, you can see there's absolutely no wind. Look at the Delaware River. There are no ripples on the river tonight, and it's really comfortable out there. I just stepped outside, and it feels good. It's 81 degrees. Lots of folks out in Old City, Philadelphia, because it's such a nice night. And after all, we are in for another one tomorrow. So 77 in Exton, 77 in Wilmington, and 77 in Millville. Very common number tonight. Overnight lows in the 60s and 70s, so comfortable. And during the day tomorrow, this is the Judea cast. Tomorrow, we know you're working early, and we're giving you a gorgeous afternoon.
Thank you. It looks perfect.
This is for you. Full sun, temperatures in the 80s, so wear your sunscreen, and then low humidity. So even though today is cooler than tomorrow will be, it's going to feel so much more comfortable. This beautiful picture taken on the Forbidden Trail in Fairmount Park. If you have not been there, it is just a gorgeous scene with waterfalls and covered bridges. It's a good hike. So here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow. Mid 80s to the north and west of Philadelphia. In the city itself, around 90, and then South Jersey in the upper 80s. So it is going to be really warm. Don't be deceived, but it's going to be more of like what we say, like a dry heat. Down the shore, comfortable 80s for the next couple days, maybe a few storms popping up, especially in the early afternoon on Thursday. So be aware of that if you're going down the shore. And then Friday looks like a better day, the high 78. Let's talk about the 3-day forecast. We talked about being near 90 tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised if we make it to 90 in some locations. And then, of course, we're back around 80 Thursday, 84 Friday, and then on your 7-day forecast from the Weather Authority, unsettled over the weekend. I feel like we're getting into more of like a fall pattern, like unsettled weather, just like a shower here, a storm there, a front stalled, that kind of rhythm. But then it comes to an end. Monday 81, Tuesday 81, and as we go through that 10-day trend, temperatures staying in the lower to mid 80s almost through the end of the month. In Judea, September around here, if there are no tropical systems and we don't have anything so far, it can be the most beautiful month of all. Because yes, we're transitioning into fall, into winter, but we're coming off a really warm summer. So I think September is going to be our favorite coming up.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what the crisp autumn air is like here in Philly. Of course, you and I are both from upstate New York. We get the colder weather. We get the autumn kind of feel with the colors and the leaves, but I've never experienced it here in Philly, so I'm excited.
It's going to be great.
Okay, we got a lot to look forward to, you guys. Those of you who are out there streaming with us, we always get our forecast from Kathy Orr, Scott Williams, or any of our Weather Authority folks out there. So this is what we've got in the 9 o'clock hour. Kathy, I appreciate you. I think, you guys, I need a drink of water. Sit down real quick during a commercial break. When we come back, I'll try to get you caught back up on some of our top news of the day. Now, while Kathy was talking about the sky closer to Earth, I also want to bring you out to outer space. We heard there was a NASA spacewalk that was live streamed, so I was able to record some of it. We'll take a look at it when we come back. Okay, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Don't worry, you guys, I've got it together. I want to take you to outer space because I heard earlier today NASA teamed up with the European Space Agency. 2 astronauts made their way for a spacewalk, and they actually live streamed it, so we've got video to show you guys. They were replacing a high-speed antenna, and again, we got this video I want to share with you. You also hear from the control room. They're talking back and forth with the astronauts as they describe what's taking place. Go ahead and take a listen.
Timeline as they work their way to remove the heat shield along the boom of the space-to-ground antenna location on the Z1 truss. Also, their suits are operating as advertised. No issues reported so far in today's spacewalk. The 282nd in support of space station assembly maintenance and upgrades. In this view, you see Neil Menon wearing the suit bearing the red stripes as he prepares to accompany Adno in the removal and installation of a series of gimbal lock bolts. There are 2 sets of these bolts. The first set is 4 bolts. The second set consists of 8 bolts. They will restrain the antenna from inadvertent movement during the time that it is not only removed but transported to its temporary stowage location on the truss of the station and eventually on external stowage platform number 3.
Okay, the green reel is locked.
Copy, green reel locked, and you'll be retrieving the hook to the handrail and then unlocking it.
Green hook is off. And the green hook is on the handrail. The green reel is unlocked.
Copy. Your next step is to ingress the APFR. We recommend you'll be head zenith, and you can use the pump module handrail as to stabilize yourself for ingress.
Menon finishing up the preparatory work for his planting of his feet in the articulating portable foot restraint at the end of Canadarm2, upon which he will be maneuvered back and forth in the transport of the failed space-to-ground antenna and its replacement over the next several hours. The robotic arm being operated primarily by Jack Hathaway from a robotics workstation inside the International Space Station, accompanied by Jessica Meir.
I would like to reinstall it. It's right in front of my heck of you, if you see it.
We see it. Checking.
Copy. And for your information as well, the heat shield didn't want to say tucked in, although I thought I had done a very good job of it.
No worries. You are go to reinstall that TA clamp, and just a reminder that about potential sharp edges on those, so just take a look closely and you're go to reinstall.
This is Mission Control Houston. Just to recap, today's spacewalk by Anil Menon and Sophie Adno began when they placed their suits on battery power at 7:29 a.m. Central Time, 8:29 a.m. Eastern Time. They moved out of the Quest airlock, set up their tools and tethers. Menon is completing the installation of a portable foot restraint at the end of Canadarm2. He'll be transported around the vicinity of the work sites at the end of the robotic arm to maneuver the failed space-to-ground antenna to a stowage location, and then maneuvering the replacement antenna that is currently housed on ESP3, the external stowage platform number 3, on the P3 truss or port 3 truss of the station. It will be installed in a boom on the Z1 truss. That's the middle portion right in the center of the uprights of the truss of the International Space Station. There are 2 such space-to-ground antennas, the one being replaced today was installed on the STS-132 mission. Back in 2010, the replacement antenna was delivered to the station in 2009 on the STS-127 mission.
And Anil, as you get into the APFR, we see about there, reminder, give yourself a good tug test. Make sure you're really comfortable with your heels. Once we get moving, we won't have too much opportunity to redo those. So once you're happy, just let us know.
I feel pretty happy. They feel solid.
Copy. We've got a camera looking big brother right over your shoulder, and you look good there. So at this time, we'll take a glove and a half check, please.
Half dry. Gloves are nominal.
Copy. I'm going to give you the comm here in just a second for your first, to build your frequent flyer miles on the arm. But for Sophie, for the gimbal locks, we're going to have you, once you get into position, I'm going to give you a couple steps so Anil can take the comm. You'll take gimbal lock number 1, which is the one with 4 bolts, and that's going to install on the aft side, so 4 bolts on the aft side, and you're going to manually put in approximately 2 turns in any order on those bolts. You're going to continue to do those. Turn count is important, so please notice and report those turn counts as able with comm.
Copy.
And McLean reporting to Sophie Adno about the beginning of the work to install gimbal locks on the failed space-to-ground antenna. These gimbal locks are physical locking pins used to secure the antenna's movable joints during launch, installation, and today's transfer operations for the spacewalk.
The published backoff position.
And Jessica, how copy?
Got you loud and clear now.
All right, let's do it like we practiced. I'm ready to go to the backoff position.
Okay, we copy. You're ready for the backoff. We'll get set up.
And Jessica Meir, working with Jack Hathaway at the robotics workstation inside, ready to move the Canadarm2 away from the truss of the station, now that Menon has planted his feet in the portable foot restraint that he installed just a few moments ago.
Anil, we're going to bring you station forward, starting motion in 3, 2, 1.
I see motion, good motion. I've got good clearances, as I know you do.
All right, as someone who is just absolutely fascinated with outer space and the work of our astronauts, I thought that this was pretty cool. I don't know how you guys feel. Just weigh in our live stream chat. For those of you guys who are here for your local news, don't worry, we're going to get right into those headlines. When we come back, I want to talk to you about some people accused of committing this ATM theft. They didn't necessarily get away with the ATM itself, but got away with quite a bit of money. We're also hearing that on Penn State, that fraternity coke ring bust has culminated in the ringleader, alleged ringleader, being arrested and denied bail. We'll also get it back into those FBI scam alerts. You have more coming up when we come back. Hey, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. Let's get into our local headlines of the evening. These are things that our reporters have been keeping their eyes on all day long. So out in Mayfair, I hear that police are looking for a guy or maybe group accused of breaking into a 7-Eleven, breaking into an ATM, and then walking off with quite a bit of cash. And I'll let you listen in to what our Kelly Rule has reported on.
Police tell me they are reviewing surveillance video from inside the store to try to identify the 3 people responsible. But this is the type of burglary that federal investigators refer to as a hook and chain ATM attack, where suspects allegedly wrap a chain around a truck and use it to forcefully open the ATM door and steal cash inside. Philadelphia police say that's what happened here.
Just walked in to go get a soda, and then I seen the ATM pulled out. It's crazy. Like, really crazy. I'm not used to this up here. It's real quiet.
Stephanie Williams had to come see it for herself. A front window broken wide open at the 7-Eleven at Tyson and Roland Avenues in Mayfair. Philadelphia police say a man wearing all black and a white mask and gloves broke open the locked window to get a hold of the store's ATM. He got it open and stole cash around 5:30 this morning. Police believe at least 3 individuals were involved.
It's surprising. Like, real surprising.
Police say before the burglary, the man got out of a white Ford pickup truck that reversed into a concrete trash can and knocked it over. After the burglary, police found the truck around the corner on Diston Street with the engine running, ignition damaged, and a tow chain attached. Police say they contacted the owner of the vehicle and learned it was stolen overnight.
It's really quiet, usually, but you're starting to hear more sirens every night, so now it's starting to get concerning.
Police say they have the vehicle in custody for processing. The crime appears to be emulating what the Department of Justice refers to as hook and chain burglaries, which involves stealing a truck, attaching hooks and chains to the vehicle, and using it to drag the door off an ATM to retrieve cash from inside.
This is terrible. It's reckless. It's terrible. They do too much. Like, How hard is it to go look for a job? Go try to find something better to do with yourself. Like, that's not cool. You destroying communities.
Police say they have not linked this case to any other burglaries, but the investigation is still in the early stages. If you have any information, you are asked to contact Northeast detectives who are investigating. Reporting in Mayfair, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox 29 News.
Appreciate Kelly for that reporting. Honestly, that sounds like something I've seen in a movie before. I feel like it may have been a Friday movie. I have to go back in my brain to figure out if that's right. Another big story that we're keeping our eyes on, though, out of Penn State. Maybe you've seen this, a big drug bust that they say is connected to a fraternity on campus. We're hearing now that the leader of this alleged cocaine trafficking ring has surrendered. That was earlier this morning. 24-year-old Agostino Abatiello, who's on the left, it was arraigned by the district judge on numerous felonies. That includes multiple counts of possession with intent to deliver cocaine, as well as conspiracy. Again, you're taking a look at his photo that we've received on your screen right there. The district judge denied bail at arraignment, so Abatiello and 13 other defendants who were charged Monday morning are all under fire. Abatiello apparently failed to appear for his scheduled arraignment yesterday. Now again, he has allegedly surrendered as of this morning, so he is now in jail. Now what's really interesting about this entire case, because we've been keeping our eyes on it, while it didn't necessarily take place on Penn State's campus, they say that this fraternity had housing off campus. They say that Abatiello and another guy by the name of Thomas Robinson were allegedly the main suppliers in this criminal organization. They say they made regular trips between Philly and New York in order to grab these large quantities of cocaine. They say they then brought them back to the fraternity house and had their pledges cutting up some of that product. Now, again, this is really, really big. They're connected to two fraternity houses in particular. So the alleged members are from Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi. Those are the fraternity houses that we are looking at. They say they distributed these drugs mainly to Penn State University students. Now, what's interesting, you'll see on this one, there's a older gentleman all the way on the right side. They're saying that that man is the father of one of the defendants in this case. Paul Robinson, Thomas Robinson's father, has been charged with felony tampering, hindering apprehension for taking steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash, as well as obstructing the investigation. So we'll wait and see how this ends up panning out. Now from Penn State, I also just want to keep you guys updated on this new warning from the FBI Philadelphia as it pertains to our international students, more specifically our Chinese students. So they are warning all the universities out there that there are some bad doers that are impersonating officers, whether it's police, the FBI, etc. They're reaching out to these Chinese students and they're trying to suggest that they're wanted for some sort of crime, or they need to pay a fee, a fine of some sort, and if they don't, they're going to be under 24/7 surveillance. They also say they want that cash wired to a Chinese bank account, or they'll ask for some sort of cryptocurrency exchange. But the FBI is saying obviously none of this is real. Do not give them their information. Do not fall victim to this. They're looking for the most vulnerable in our population. And they're specifying that it seems to be happening on our college campuses. So again, this is FBI Philadelphia making this announcement. That means we here in Pennsylvania, all across all of our universities, just need to keep an eye out for one another. If you see something, hear something, whatever that kind of seems out of the sort, you know, a student who's going through something and doesn't quite know where to turn, they say they want you to talk to your local police department, but also report that to the FBI. They want to know who's doing this, why they're doing it, and hopefully be able to make some charges and some arrests. Now, another big story that I want to bring you on out to, on the happier side of things, I heard Villanova is debuting a brand new campus, and our Chris O'Connell got to check it out. Take a look.
Villanova University just got a whole lot bigger, 112 acres to be exact. After sitting vacant for the last 2 years here on the main line, the former Cabrini University is now home to a new era for Villanova. With brand new entrance signs and V banners hanging from nearly every light pole, the transformation of the former Cabrini University campus to Villanova is now complete.
We had to brand it to look like Villanova. So it was really important for us to make this look like Villanova as much as possible.
This was Cabrini's final graduation in 2024, closing after 67 years due to financial problems. It was acquired by Villanova, who spent the last 2 years and $100 million to renovate the new campus, including a new intramural field house, a new student center, bookstore, and 30 new classrooms.
We try to centralize everything. So a lot of money was spent in infrastructure, security, and bringing new programs here, and to do a lot of deferred maintenance.
Villanova's Cabrini campus will soon be home to 900 sophomores as demand for enrollment here continues to increase. Both campuses will be served by shuttle buses running every 7 to 12 minutes all day long.
The freshmen came over here, they saw it, and they were like, this is great. And like, this will be like our campus. And we can live with our friends and, you know, share rooms and do different things. So we didn't have to convince them.
But while there's plenty of Villanova blue, university leaders say they don't want Cabrini's identity to simply disappear. A statue of Mother Frances Cabrini remains. So does much of the architecture and character of the former university.
Once they get here, then they'll make it home. You know, they'll turn it into a new home for Villanova.
Most of those students will arrive here to the new campus later this week, ushering in what will be one of the largest expansions here at Villanova University in its 184-year history. In Radnor Township, Chris O'Connell, Fox 29 News.
That looked incredible. I can only imagine what it'd be like walking through those hallways. And I'm really happy that they kept the character of those buildings by keeping the architecture as well as the statue of Cabrini herself. So that's a little bit of what's going on locally. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get into our top trending stories of the day and also get you set up for the 10 o'clock news. Still a lot more ahead, so you guys don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We've got Jake Leonard up on the desk. Hey. So in addition to some of our trending stuff, we also keep people up to date on like what they're looking for. And I think a lot of people were watching the Phillies game. We do have a final score for you all. So Phillies did come out on top. Yup, 6-4. We are waiting for Don Mattingly to take over press conference, give us some post-game insight into what happened against the Miami Marlins. Again, this is a larger series, so we still have more baseball to be played. But the game's over. That's what we got there. Bringing it back on into us. Jake,
Yes.
What's going on in the world of trending news?
Okay, so we talked about it yesterday. The biggest story was the unfortunate sudden passing of Hayden. Yes. So the autopsy came out yesterday. There was a lot of stuff about the causes of the death. Today we're learning more information from TMZ, our broadcast partner. So basically a really interesting article came out today that said Hayden was in South Carolina with her boyfriend.
Okay, not the ex that she has the child with.
No.
Okay, this is her current boyfriend.
Yes, current boyfriend, and I don't know what the circumstances were, but his name's Brian. He was asleep they were in an Airbnb. He was asleep in one of the beds. She was out in the living room on like a sofa, and the other person, so you're seeing on her boyfriend Brian, on the other person in the picture, Zach, his brother, he came into the Airbnb and was the one who found Hayden.
Oh my goodness.
So yes, the circumstances are still unclear, but you know, the boyfriend was present at the time. He was asleep in the other room, but he was physically there.
Okay.
So
to this day, granted this really just happened, I believe, late Sunday,
Yes.
which is when we got the news, and then everyone was reporting it on Monday. It's really yesterday. We don't have any idea the cause of death just yet,
well,
right?
okay, so we know that she went into cardiac arrest.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
we know that she went into cardiac
new today.
arrest, and there was Narcan found in the Airbnb, which is causing some people to speculate that it could be drug related, but you know, we can't say that for sure because there are a bunch of people who just carry Narcan to be safe. It's obviously very helpful, so that could have just been the case. So don't want to assume, but that was found.
Okay. So we'll keep our eyes, I guess,
Yes.
on the medical examiners as they continue out their autopsy.
Yes.
And maybe even be able to get some answers. But it's interesting, you know, we had that interview yesterday where we did talk about she has admitted to her drug use in the past.
Yes.
She had also talked about, you know, just being a childhood star.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't necessarily see the kinds of things you go behind the scenes.
Yes.
So still, no matter what, I do want to make sure that we're also pushing out there that be nice to people.
Yes,
You never know.
definitely.
You never know.
Yes.
But they're saying no foul play.
No.
Okay.
As of right now.
Okay. All right. So that's the latest that we've got from TMZ. We shared a little bit of what was going on otherwise. Now, Jake, there's a story that I know blew up on social media.
Yes.
I had some friends all the way out in California asking me, was I
What?
okay in Philly?
California?
Yes.
Wow.
Because they're seeing it. This masked person
Yes.
approaching people
Yes.
near City Hall.
Yes.
What is that about?
Yeah, okay, so basically this happened last week, but we're just starting to get some of the pictures and videos and such. Long story short, there was this masked person running around the City Hall area. People are saying it looks like a Chucky mask, you know, like the doll, but we're
Chucky
not
is
sure.
scary, but
Yeah,
I
so
don't
they
know
were
what that thing
were
is.
running and harassing a bunch of people in the area, and at one point approached a woman and said, "Are you ready to die?" Which is obviously extremely frightening.
Yes.
Yes, especially because when they approached the person, their arm was behind their back.
So you don't know what they have.
No.
And this was early in the morning, right?
Yes,
She
it was
out jogging.
It was super early in the
herself.
morning. Yes. So I mean, when you're looking back at the footage, you can see like a flash. So it does seem like this person was recording doing this, which makes speculation that it was some sort of social media challenge or that they weren't being like, I don't know, but it's obviously not really good. What ended up happening is that they like went to a Dunkin' Donuts and they asked to take the mask off. They wouldn't be served, so it's still unfolding. The police are still trying to find this person.
Help us find this masked individual because we don't want anybody wreaking havoc in our streets.
No.
Now, as Jake and I were talking, I looked in the
Yes.
corner of my eye. Don Mattingly has approached the podium.
Oh, yeah.
This is for that post-game sound. Again, Phillies beat the Marlins. Take a listen to our interim manager.
Bind when you're trying to deal with a different guy every time you walk up there. But yeah, got some big hits. You know, Stott on defense, Bomer's defensive play. Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Not that you doubt
noted that Stock could be like proficient at third base, but are you surprised at just like how natural he looks over there?
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really worried about him at all, but like he's been really, really good. So I'd say he's probably better than anyone should expect for a guy that hadn't been over there that much, but he's been really good. On both sides of the ball. Yeah.
Dom, we talked about it a little bit the other day of Harper getting on base more and walking and all that. But what do you attribute it to, his different approach? I know we talked about the meeting that they had and all, but is Arise a big part of it? Is it just a different way that he wants to go now?
It's hard for me to answer that. It's probably more for him to answer it. But, we talked early in the spring training with Bryce just about protecting himself and make sure you're getting pitches to hit. Having Louis back there is nice because he'll, when Harp's getting on, Louis kind of getting on also, or at least moving guys. If there's a guy in front of Harp, then it puts the guys in scoring position. So I don't know what to attribute it to other than basically him, committing to the game plan as approach and really not giving in.
Why do you think Wheels is running some high-pitch counts lately, not getting deep into games, 2-out trouble in fifth innings, and walks, like 10 walks in his last 3? That's not really the Zach